Maido! Hi there, Japan fans. Today's show, we're going to talk about stories. Present or Master Shimashou. This is the 7th year of the Presentation Japan Series podcast. We are beaming around the world to you from sunny Minato-ku in Tokyo. And I'm your host, Dr. Greg Story, Dale Carnegie Tokyo franchise owner, the president of Dale Carnegie Tokyo Training, and the 3-time best-selling author of Japan Sales Mastery, which is Zaegyo in Japanese, Japan Business Mastery, and Japan Presentations Mastery, plus Stop Wasting Money on Training, which in Japanese is Training de okane o muda ni suru wa yamimashou, and all are available on Amazon. Through this podcast, I want to help you to become a better speaker, to be 1, clear, 2, confident, 3, persuasive, and 4, highly influential with those around you. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with your family, friends, and colleagues. We are not being sponsored by Libsyn, but we value your privacy, which is why we have our podcast hosted by Libsyn. Unlike many other hosting organizations, Libsyn have a strict policy that does not allow access to your private information by anyone. Here is our daily podcast lineup on Apple Podcasts. Mondays, the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show podcast. Tuesday, the Presentations Japan series, and every second Tuesday, the Business Tatsujin no Oshie show. Wednesdays, the Sales Japan series. Thursdays, the Leadership Japan series, and every second Thursday, the Business Pro Podcasto show. Fridays, the Japan Business Mastery Show podcast, and Saturdays, Japan's top business interviews. Now, this is episode number 336. Today we're talking about, do you have enough stories when presenting? The raconteur is admired. And the reason is because they are brimming with interesting stories, incidents, vignettes, and amusing reflections. We don't need to be a gold medal winning raconteur to be a presenter, but we do need to borrow from their catalogue and start building up stories. I was listening to an interview with a rakugo professional. They make their living telling stories. They do this while sitting stationary on a big cushion dressed in kimono, employ only a fan as a prop, and use their facial expressions, eye power, voice modulation, body language, and delivery timing to captivate their audience. We have many fewer restrictions in what we are doing when presenting, but there is much to learn here. They start by copying the stories of their master, and then they bring their own flavour to the story once they have mastered it. We can do the same. When we read a biography of a famous person, we will find there are many interesting turning points, eureka moments, and key incidents in their story which we can use in our presentations as an example. The big difference is we have probably read these before, but without the mindset to capture them, note them down where they can be found, and then to employ them. Once we decide that we're going to employ more stories to make our points, we start to read and search with a different purpose. Generally, there are only a few topics on which we will give a public speech, and so there is a defined world in which we can search for stories. If we think we have to read everything available and search for stories across a broad front, we'll give up because the task is overwhelming. We select the areas we will cover, and then we think about where can we find stories on these topics. Another way is to think about people who will resonate with the audience. If you think Steve Jobs is a likely example who people will pay attention to, then we search out what he had to say or what people have said about him and try and find relevant stories and examples we can use. There's no shortage of famous people we can draw upon. We just have to make a simple list and then start. There are plenty of speeches available on TED Talks and on YouTube or on podcasts Well, we can locate content we can use. We can search from the content point of view or from the individual whom we think will have something worthwhile to say. There are thousands of blogs, articles, and books on the subject we have chosen. The key is absorb them with a viewpoint that we're looking for content we can use rather than just absorbing the content for its own sake. We can do both, of course, and we should be doing both. Find out more. We come back from the break. Today's show is brought to you by our public courses, but we also are doing custom in-house programs. We do them in both Japanese and English. We do them in our super safe classroom and live online. Our show today is brought to you by, on the 12th of April, Dale Carnegie course. This main modules are stretched out over 12 weeks. 12 weeks? What? That's 3 months. Who ever heard of a course taking 3 months? Well, there's method in the madness here, because a big chunk of this course is about helping us all to change our mindset and change our behaviour. We all know getting people to change is not fast and it's not easy. It requires a gradual process, and that's why this course, the main modules, take 3 months. Over that time, we are working on our leadership skills, our communication and persuasion skills, our people skills, our stress management skills, and at the same time, the mindset is being addressed. The behaviour changes needed are being addressed as well. And the impact is that probably for the first, I'd say, having taught the class for about maybe the first 4 weeks, people don't do much in terms of change, because the way the course is run is so dramatically different from anything else I've ever experienced. It just blows them all away, like, wow, what is going on here? But after 4 weeks, they realise, oh, okay, this is how this works. And then without knowing it, their comfort zone is being expanded constantly, gradually. And they start to become more capable to challenge things in their work. You know, and the beauty of this course is, because it's every week, it's what we call time-spaced learning in the training business, time-spaced learning. It means that you get some information, you get some experience, you get some training, you get some role play, you get some practice, and then between the programs, and next week, a week between them, you get a chance to practice what you've learned, because everything we do in Dale Carnegie is extremely practical. There's not a lot of theory going on here. It's all very practical stuff you can use immediately, type of content. And the point is, you need to be using them. So between classes, you're actually practicing what you've learned, and then this is getting you an immediate value straight away. So, excellent program. If you haven't done it, this is one of the core programs you should have in your arsenal of professional skill sets. On the 20th of April, another one you need to have, which is all about persuasion power. We call that High Impact Presentations course, and I don't know whether that's a good word or not. You know, maybe we should call it Massive Persuasion Presentations course, or Amazing Persuasion Presentation course, or Astronomically Powerful Persuasion Presentation course, or something like that, because that's actually what it does. It makes us all very persuasive. Now, how do we do that? Well, it's not just being able to talk at people. That's not the point. What we learn is how to engage an audience, how to capture their attention, how to have the delivery in such a way they are following us. They're not tuning us out. We've got them engaged. We've got them hooked into the message we're giving them. And they're receiving that message very, very clearly, because we are very concise. We are very clear. We are very articulate in the way we deliver it. The structure of the message is such that it flows very naturally, very authentically. And it's easy to absorb. It's easy to take on board for the people who are listening. But that's skill. You know, that's a skill. Designing it is a skill. Delivering it is a skill. And the beauty of this program is you get so much coaching and feedback on how to make sure that skill for you is operating at a tremendously high level. That is really the big difference to coaching. Because, you know, okay, we video all the presentation. Anyone, look, any clown can go out and buy a video camera and buy a tripod. Like, big deal, you know. So what? That's not the point. The point is, when you actually look at the replay, what are the people saying to you? What do they know about what you're doing here to help you become the best you can possibly be? What can they do to plumb the depths of what's possible for you? How can they give you the insights that you need to become even better? How can they reinforce the things you're doing well and help you to understand how you can become even better? That's the skill. That's what you're getting. And this is where this program is tremendous. So I didn't do it until I think I was in my 40s before I did this program like an idiot. I should have done it much earlier. I should have done it in my 20s. Do it early. If you can't do it early, do it now. The best time was yesterday. The second best time is now. Go to our website at www.dale-carnegie.co.jp. Lots and lots of value there for you. To do better in Japan, email me at greg.story@dalecarnegie.com. If you like learning by watching videos, then we have nearly 2,000 there for you on Tokyo, Japan, Dale Carnegie TV on YouTube. We release 3 TV shows every week on YouTube. The Cutting Edge Japan Business Show, that's the premier business show on Japan, every Monday, Tokyo time. Fridays, we have the Japan Business Mastery Show. And on Saturdays, we release Japan's top business interviews, where I interview leaders from small, medium enterprises all the way up to the corporate captains of industry on one topic, leading in Japan. Every second Thursday, we release the Business Pro TV show. Get my best-selling books on business in Japan, the Bible on selling, Japan Sales Mastery, Zaegyo in Japanese, Japan Business Mastery, Japan Presentations Mastery, plus Stop Wasting Money on Training, which in Japanese is Training de okane wo muru ni suru wa yamemashou, and all are available on Amazon. Welcome back. In our communities, there are bound to be people giving talks. We should attend these and see if they have any interesting examples or stories we can use. There is no shame in attributing the stories to the person you heard it from. No one marks you down for doing that, because all they care about is, do they get value from the story? Ripping off other people's stories and then manufacturing them as if they are your own cases is a very, very bad idea. Plagiarism of any variety shouts that you are an intellectual lightweight and a pathetic thief. This is not a reputation-building plus, so don't steal. Remember, our reputation in the business world is all we have, really. Lose that and life in business gets very hard, as no one will trust you or want to work with you. If you are so duplicitous as to steal someone's story material, then why would we see you as a reliable business partner? Well, we won't. And you don't have to do this anyway, because there are tons of stories available. We will have our own homegrown experiences, and there will be plenty of these to draw on. What we usually lack is the ability to capture what happened and use it. Often things happen, and we just keep moving forward and don't capture the detail so that we can use it later. Or, if we do capture it, we can never find where we put it. This requires a good record-keeping system with a robust filing and recall mechanism, and also the discipline to look for good stories to capture in the first place. It means we have to be well organized. We don't exactly know which story we will need or just when, but if we will locate what we need when we need it, then we're all good to go. To get to that stage isn't that easy, but today there are digital records we can access from anywhere. I use Evernote on my phone to capture items I think will be useful for later. I can retype it or photograph it so the process becomes fast. I can download this content and move it around to file it, categorize it, and find it later. I'm sure there are many other apps for this purpose, and that is the beauty of this age. We have few excuses for not being able to capture useful information. How many stories do we need? Not that many, because, we don't give that many public talks. As I mentioned, the speech topics will probably be limited. When you combine few speaking opportunities with a limited range of topics, then the number of stories required becomes relatively small in number. If you said, I need 10 stories, that would be relatively easy to assemble over the period of a year. If you said 100, then that thought will probably have you zooming straight to the couch to lie down for a while and recuperate. Start small and capture them one by one. And before you know it, you'll be surprised with how many useful pieces you have assembled. Did you get value from today's show? If you did, then share the love around with your family, friends, and colleagues. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast. Until the next episode, go out there and apply the learnings from today and become a presentations legend amongst your circle. Thank you for joining me, and please tune in next week. Remember, I'm in your corner, committed to your success here in Nippon.